Yeah, it goes Reggie, Jay-Z, Tupac, and Biggie, Andre from Outkast, Jadakiss, Nas,
Nas.
and then me.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is, I'm thinking that he's actually saying it in reverse order. I'm thinking that he's saying that it goes me, Nas, Jadakiss, Andre from Outkast, Biggie, Tupac, Jay-Z, and Reggie. Because you know who Reggie is,
Oh,
right?
no,
Oh, you don't know who Reggie is?
no.
Oh man, come on,
I
come
know
on.
everyone else on the list.
Reggie Noble,
Yeah, I'm not hip.
Redman,
Okay.
Redman. One of my all-time favorites. For me, it's like Biggie, J, Red, Nas, Andre. Uh,
I know Redman. Well, I didn't know why does he call him Reggie and not Redman?
well, because he goes by Reggie. Sometimes he goes by Reggie Noble, which is his real name.
Right, I figured
Right.
that.
Yeah. So
So wait,
hey,
so that's an Eminem quote you got then on
yes,
your
sir.
chest.
Yes, sir.
So you like the Slim Shady?
Yeah, I like him, man. Him is nice. I mean, you cannot deny the guy's skill set, dude. Like he's next level with it. His wordplay is bananas. His delivery is crazy.
Greg Edwards hates him.
No way. Really? Why?
Well, he doesn't hate him, but he doesn't like him.
Why doesn't he
I
like
don't
him?
know, the whole white thing or something in the rap
Yo,
game. I
come
don't
on,
know.
man. Come
We
on,
have to. We
man.
got to have him on, and we'll bring it up. I always love to bring up. I'll always like say stuff about how great Eminem is. He hates it just to get his reactions.
Dude, Eminem is great. Now look, I'm with that whole thing of like, I play like this. Any white person who what do they call it? What is it called? Uh
Appropriation.
Appropriations, like who takes another culture's skills or talents or whatever the case may be, and are subpar, right? Are below average, but because they're white, they get all the accolades and they get the attention, and just based on sheer numbers, they sell a lot of records, but they aren't very good. Yo, that's
Mm-hmm.
what like okay, yo, yeah, I'm with that. In that case, I'm like, yo, damn, that dude is whack. Like it's weak, right? He don't deserve to get
Well,
that.
I mean,
But
Vanilla
but
Ice set white rappers back for a while.
but I'm gonna tell you right now with Eminem, yo, man, the dude is legit, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's
No,
he's just
he's
good.
great.
He's
He's a
good. He's
very
good.
that's the thing. Like he had to be good to be able to break through.
Well, he didn't have to be good because he was with Dr. Dre, so he got the endorsement from Dre coming out
Well,
the gate.
he wouldn't have been with Dr. Dre unless he was really good.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true
I
too.
mean, hear
And
that tape. You ever hear that story how he discovered him? It's really cool on the what's that? They did a 4-part documentary with Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine on HBO.
okay,
You see that?
I
It's
haven't seen it yet. No,
Reggie Noble, nothing, dude. You ain't seen this documentary?
no, I ain't seen it yet. I'll check it out. It's on what
It's
streaming
on
platform?
HBO. It's on
HBO.
HBO. It's the 4-part. I can't remember what it's called right now. I'll look it up.
Okay,
But it's about the story of Jimmy Iovine, who is, a
Jimmy
producer.
Iovine.
Yeah. And then and Dr. Dre. And but it's just amazing because then they start off with the whole NWA, and
Okay.
then the next one is really like Dre going on his own. And Dr. Dre, from the money he made with NWA, he made his own little studio in his house, and that's where he recorded the Chronic.
Oh,
And
nice.
he had all these people. Snoop would just come by. Snoop was like 19. They would just get
Yeah.
high and he'd freestyle, and then they start putting stuff down. And then he produced that whole album himself. And then he went everywhere and pitched it, and people weren't interested. And he did it himself
Wow.
and stuff. And then Jimmy, I would say
Iovine.
Iovine,
Iovine. Jimmy Iovine.
Jimmy Iovine, he got a hold of it. And he's like, all right, well, give me 2 weeks. I'll get you out all your contracts
Okay.
and we'll put this out. But yeah, dude, it
Wow.
was him going himself to just pitching it all these people.
Hey man, that's it. Sometimes you gotta what they say, if you build it, they will come. Sometimes you
Yeah.
just gotta go out and do it, man. You just gotta make it happen. Um,
Yeah.
hey, before we go any further, should we say, hey, I'm Reggie Steele, and
Oh
this is
yeah.
Sal Kalani, and
Welcome to Spitballin.
welcome to Spitballin'.
The
That was very
Defiant Ones. That's what it's called.
oh, the defiant ones. That was very Cleveland of you. Welcome to Spit. Well, like your
Welcome.
mouth twisted.
We
Welcome to
always like
Spitballin'.
my buddy would always joke about sausage. Like it would have me some
Sausage.
sausage and eggs.
Yo, and let me address this real quick too for all of our, not just our listeners, but the people who are watching. If I keep messing with my nose, it's not because I'm doing blow. It's because, yo, my allergies
Oh, they've
are
been rough.
bananas right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like it's banana.
Man, I've been feeling it all week too.
Oh, dude, it's crazy. I just rode my bike I just did like 8 miles or something like that. Not a whole lot, but I'm outside completely fine. No problem. Ride my bike, not a big deal. Walk indoors, no start like a faucet turning on my head. It's just like, so I don't know
You
what's
don't
going
wear a
on.
headband or nothing?
A headband. I wear a helmet. I wear a helmet, my
I mean, for the
shades.
sweat, man, I couldn't.
Nah, I don't wear
Like
a
I have to
headband.
wear. I wear. Well, I just got a stationary bike.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
wear a headband for that. But you know what's cool about that?
What's
You can
that?
watch. You can set up your little phone and just set up an episode of whatever you want to watch, and then you watch it and go.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I listen to I use my earpods, my earbuds or whatever.
Oh
Um
yeah, the
yeah, it
Bluetooth.
was nice, man. Ride my bike, had my earbuds in. I was chilling. Now with this, I look like a black preacher. Hey, welcome to Spitballin. Today, me and Sal gonna talk about some things. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna
Word.
dig. They don't say word.
What did it say?
They say well,
Well.
well, go on now, say it. Yeah, preaching like and Sal, he came from Cleveland all the way to LA.
Well.
Well, and where he figured out how to put it together. He had to hustle from sun up to sundown. And can I get a witness? Can I get a witness?
Right here.
Right.
Present. Witness over
Dude,
here.
that was actually the most white thing you've ever done. Can I get a witness? Present. Right here. I'm here. Can I be counted? President accounted for. Oh man, that was great. All right, man. How you been, bro?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I got nothing, dude. I got nothing. I wanted to say I did have a show last night. I was
Oh,
thinking about,
really?
I never to finish the Eminem part, dude. How we
Oh,
got
yeah. I'm
discovered.
sorry. Go
So
ahead.
it's
Defiant
basically he
ones.
just had the mixtape. He did a competition in LA,
Okay.
and he got second place. But it's pretty
Okay.
cool. You can find the footage, and he's ripping. It's like he's ripping on these guys about all their white jokes are backfiring and shit. Like
Yeah.
but he just his skill was so good. And then he was handing out his tapes like he'd always do,
Right.
and one of Jimmy Iovine's interns or whatever grabbed it, and then then the rumor is when Dr. Dre first heard it, he thought he was black. He didn't even know Eminem was white.
Really?
Yeah, it's funny.
You listen to that first album, The Real Slim Shady, will you please stand up? He
Yeah.
sounds very
Well,
black to
that was
me.
when he worked with Dre. They really pushed that, and
Okay.
yeah,
Oh, they
man.
pushed that I mean, they pushed that sound, that nasally sound or whatever it was.
Well, yeah, he was that geeky. You remember all his videos are all so cartoony in the beginning
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And but this is one thing about Eminem. Like everybody, so the classic argument for white people who want to say the N word, and I'm like, who is
Why?
the whitest black guy there is? He conquered the rap game. It's
Is
Eminem,
there a
and
such
he's
thing though?
never said the N word.
Wait, hold up though. Is there a such thing as the whitest black guy? Let's examine that statement.
Okay.
Because if you said there could be an argument for the whitest black guy, people would go, yo, that's fucked up. How come black just can't be black? Right? Like if he has white mannerisms, he's still a black dude, so he's still black. But if you say a white guy, the whitest black
Wait,
guy,
I should be saying the blackest white guy.
no, you just say a good white rapper. Or no, don't even say that. You just say a good rapper who happens to be white. That's what you say. It ain't got to be about the race and the color and all that other stuff. People see that's the problem. People like to descend down to that level, right? Like it's got to be this racial thing. I'm like, damn, the dude is just a rapper. He's a rapper,
Right.
and he's white. That's just what it is, and he's phenomenal. Now, obviously, it was something started in the Bronx by black people as a way of expressing themselves, like another form of blues and jazz and all this other kind of stuff. But just like those things, what's his name? Uh, what's the white guy, the jazz player? Shucks, the blues. I'm sorry, plays the guitar.
Now or
No,
back
who
in
is
the
it?
day,
No, back in the day,
a white blues
riding with
player.
the king, riding with the king. BB King and Eric Clapton.
Oh, Clapton. Yeah.
Right? Eric Clapton is a phenomenal artist, a phenomenal guitarist. The dude makes phenomenal music. And that's just because he had access to it and became this thing. I wouldn't say that he's like the blackest white guy to do the blues, right?
That's
We
true.
just say, right. And the same thing with comedy. I'm not gonna say, man, Sal's, he's like one of the best white comedians out there. It's like, nah, man, he's just a funny fucking comedian.
Right.
It's like, and he's white, right? It doesn't matter.
I mean, well, like even this guy Hendrix, he caught shit for
Yeah.
being mainly the hanging out with the doing white rock and roll.
Right.
And he had like white musicians with him. And then that's why like once those guys left, he went totally the opposite and went, more like African instruments he had in his band and stuff.
Right.
And then he went back.
And think about it too, Hendrix. I mean, he died at 27, man. Right. So, it's like you're still figuring out who you are, right? So he grew up in Seattle. Seattle or Portland? Seattle.
Seattle.
He grew up in Seattle.
I've been to his grave.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's your spot. That's your spot. Go there and hang out, throw back a couple with Jimmy, sit at his gravesite. Like, Jimmy, I try to play your tunes all the time, man. So, but yeah, considering where he grew up, what he was exposed to, what he knew, then he just grew, that's who he developed, that's who he became, right? But then as you get older, you get more access, you learn more, you start to learn more about yourself, your heritage, and then you start trying to branch out, right? Like you try to figure some things out. And he was still young, man. Just imagine, who would he have been at 34, right? You know what I mean?
But there's also that thing of, they die young and stuff. So then they become like this legend where if they were still around, I mean, you could even say Clapton, like Clapton's cool, but he's not Jimi Hendrix cool.
No, he's not Jimi Hendrix cool.
You know what I mean? So, and there adds a mystique to it because the 27 Club, Jimmy, Janis Joplin 3 weeks later, Jim Morrison 6 months later. And then of course Kurt Cobain in the 90s.
Right. Well, and the thing too is when you die young, right? A la Biggie and Tupac, then
younger than 27,
younger than 27, 25 and 24. Tupac at 25, Biggie at 24. Kids. The thing that you're left with is the potential, the unrealized potential. Right. And that can be limitless based on where they were in the trajectory that they could have gone, right? So you just assume if they would have kept going, it'd be next level. But personally, I mean, between the two, I think, Tupac obviously had a much larger catalog. So he had a lot more time to get more out there. So we could see his growth, his evolution. We could see all the changes that he went through, right? Whereas with Biggie legitimately had 2 albums. That was it. He had his debut album and then he had his sophomore album. And for me personally, both of those albums are nuts. Like I can play those albums front to back, nonstop, on repeat all day.
What was the second one, Ready to Die?
Life After Death.
Life After Death. And that came out after he died, right?
Yep, he got killed and it came out right, like, couple weeks later, a month later. And that joint was bananas. 24, man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you have that potential is one of those things. It's just limitless, man. You can't decide what would have happened because you don't know. So it's always, the upside is always going to be way bigger. So that's why those guys are always in the discussion, because that potential was never fully realized. Just like, what's that thing? If you live long enough to see the hero become the villain, right? It's like you live long enough to see things not work out, right?
That's a Batman quote, isn't it?
Is it a Batman quote?
I think that's from The Dark Knight.
I think it's from somewhere else first.
You live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah,
it's him and Two-Face are talking about that.
Yeah, but he took it from somewhere else. Batman didn't come up with that quote, dude.
So Reggie's a Biggie guy. I'm a Pac guy, I guess, more.
Okay, I like Pac.
But you think Biggie's better?
I don't think he's better. I think they're different. No, this is a good
Biggie's
conversation.
the lyricist, and
yes, sir.
Pac
Storyteller
is the, I don't know, Pac is the guy, like, you'll follow him into war.
Because Pac is what? He's an activist.
He's passionate.
He evokes emotion. He's an emotional guy. Like, you listen to Pac and it's always like, it's just, Brenda's got a baby, but Brenda's barely got a brain. Damn shame, the girl can
That's
barely
funny.
spell her
That's the
name.
one you brought up.
Say what? For me?
That's funny. That's the one you brought up.
Yeah, no, I think about, as far as like trying to have a message early, but then later on, he went straight, he went
Oh
into
yeah.
fight music, man.
Fuck your bitch in the clit, you
Yeah,
claim West
claim.
Side till we ride it.
But I mean, he delivered like this.
Oh, that shit is hardcore, dude.
I mean, it's so emotional, right? Like he evokes a lot of emotion. That's his thing. Biggie, for me, and we talked about this, right? We talked about your approach to things. You're very you want to get up in people's face and you're like, yo, let's take down the man. And you want to be out in the streets with clubs and torches and like, let's go. Whereas for me,
No,
I'm like,
not Capitol Riot style.
no Capitol Riots at all. No Capitol Riots. But you are you're more up in your face, right? And I feel like I'm like a silent sniper, man. I'm sitting up on a roof with a long range rifle with a high power scope, and I'm just
See, that's
right?
it, dude. I'll be charging in, and then you're up in the tower protecting, watching my back.
Exactly. Lou, I'm stealth. I come in, just get one of these, crack, keep it moving. Because Biggie was a lyricist, man. And then he was a lyricist, but he was also a storyteller, and the details and the pictures that he painted with his words. One of my favorite all time is favorite all time. I can't recall. I was trying to think of who shot you. Who shot you, right? Listen to this. The way it starts off is, who shot you? Separate the weak from the obsolete, hard to creep from Brooklyn streets. It's on. Fuck all the bickering beef. I can hear sweat trickling down your cheek. Your heartbeat sound like Sasquatch feet, thundering, shaking the concrete. Then it stops when I call the cops. Neighbors heard the shots. Started, have whatever. Three in a drop, three in a slow.
That was his answer to Tupac for saying he
No,
shot him.
no. That album was a beast. That song was a B-side to a song that came out like 2 or 3 years before any of that Tupac stuff. But the problem is that when Pac got shot, everyone starts to play that again, and then it just, you know how people manipulate the story, the narrative. That was Biggie made that song way before Pac got shot, but people start playing it again. Now all of a sudden Pac is shot. Pac is paranoid. He's talking about, Biggie run New York. Biggie did this whole thing, and then all of a sudden, who shot you?
So did Biggie shoot him? Have him shot?
No, Biggie did not have him shot. Biggie did not
So
have him
let
shot.
me ask you this: did Tupac really believe Biggie had him shot, or did Tupac do it just up the feud and up the hype? Get them.
I believe that Tupac believed it. In his heart of hearts, I believed it. But if you look at all the interviews late in his life, everything that was going on with the trials, with the assault with the young lady in the hotel room, where he didn't actually do anything, but the people around him, that case, the case with the police officers in Atlanta where he got arrested, right?
Yeah, he shot those 2 undercover cops.
Right, he shot the cops, right? And then the shooting at the studio in New York.
They were beating somebody up, by the way. They were beating somebody up, I think, and he got out of the car. They're beating up a black guy, and he got out of the car and he started shooting at him.
Okay, well, there you
go. I remember reading something, and the guy in the car was like, "Don't go out there, Pac." He's like, "No, man, fuck that." Right. And then he didn't know they were cops.
He didn't know, and he's young too. Think about it. He's probably like 22 at that point, right?
Yeah.
Just head full of steam, running out into some situation. But the point I'm trying to make is that there was so much going on in his life at that time that it all built up. If you look back at everything that was happening, it all built up to this mindset, this mentality, because he started to become paranoid. Like he legitimately started to become paranoid, thinking that people were out to get him, right? That the system was against him. And then you go back to the whole Black Panthers and his mom and everything that's going on there. So the way he was raised, everything that was that he was fed, and I'm not saying that it was right or wrong. I'm just saying that you look at his life and everything that was going on, it all led up to this point, right? So it affects how
I mean, his mom's political background probably helped make him such an activist in his lyrics.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. So, he was paranoid. He legitimately was paranoid. And then you get bailed out of jail by a blood named Suge Knight. Right.
Goes right to, and I read it, he went right to the set for the California song with Dr. Dre.
Yep. And started making music. And the thing about Pac is, and because I said he's got this large catalog, if you look at the stuff that he did early, first with Digital Underground, he was like a lot of fun and just, I get around and whatever else may be the case. And then as he started to transition into his music, it became a lot more conscious, right? A lot more conscious when he's talking about real things that are happening. And then if you listen to the later stuff when he got with Death Row, he was on a whole nother, like that was a lot of the music. The production was amazing, but if you listen to the lyrics, he was on some angry, like fight music type stuff, right? My fofo, make sure all your kids don't grow.
Well, that's that one song, true.
No, but
Me
I'm talking
Against
about
the
it's that
World. Me
energy.
Against the World wasn't so violent. Dear
No,
Mama, that came out
well,
later.
that's what I'm saying. That was that time period in the middle where he was very conscious. Then, if
Uh,
you look at the things that happened to him afterwards, there was a lot of anger in his music. And the thing about the anger is that it's contagious. It is,
right.
right? It's emotion. So everybody, and all of a sudden it turns into like people picking sides, East against West, which is funny because the dude grew up in DC, right? He grew up in Baltimore, went to the School of Fine Arts in Baltimore, which
Tupac.
is which is the East Coast. He was like an East Coast rapper over West Coast beats.
But he was in Oakland, right?
Well, he came out to Oakland at one point. He was in Marin County at one point. He got in trouble for a shooting out there when he was a teenager, and he was in Oakland. But he was an East Coast dude. If you look at his stuff, he was an East Coast rapper over West Coast beats.
Yeah, and he knew
yeah,
Biggie in New York, right? They're
yeah,
buddies
yeah,
before.
yeah. You knew Big dude. Biggie was, if you look at the Biggie documentary on Netflix, that joint is revealing too, as far as just how he came, what was happening in his life that led him to be the type of rapper he was, meaning his flow, his style, his delivery, all that stuff. It's all based on when he was a kid. He used to hang out. First, he's from Jamaica. So he'd go back to Jamaica to hear, he'd hear music there. He had relatives that were into music there. But then also in New York, he used to hang out with a guy that was a jazz musician. He used to literally go to his house and they listen to records together and just, he'd pick up the rhythms and the cadence and the timing. So Shock G, who just passed away recently, from Digital Underground, was talking about if you listen to Biggie's flow, he's like it's almost like a jazz rhythm where it's just like it kind of has this thing, right? But yeah, man, I'm not gonna say who's better because that's like trying to say which color is better, blue or red, black or white,
Right.
green or yellow, right? Because it's just different. They're just different. They do different things. I'll share this with you. So I had and I haven't talked to these guys about this yet. So I had a situation with AJ and Mockley, right? We're texting back and forth. We're talking about the Bucks and the Nets, right? And trying to predict who's going to win Game 5, right? And I'm like, well, I really want the Bucks to win. I said I think the Nets will win, but I want the Bucks to win, right? That was my message. That's what I said, right? And Mockley comes out with, yeah, of course you don't want him to win. You don't want KD to win because of LeBron. You don't want him to take LeBron's crown. I'm like, whatever, man. Look,
It's so funny how you and I both love LeBron, and people know it and give a shit for doing that.
yeah, exactly. But or try to give us stuff about it, right?
Right.
Right. And I go, hey man, LeBron is set. I go, my issue with KD has nothing to do with his skill set, like his accolades or his ability to play basketball. I was like, my issue with KD is I don't like his attitude. Personally, the dude, he just kind of a pain, right? He's a pain. And we can cite a number of points of times where the dude has said stuff that you go, really, KD?
His whole like fake Twitter account and stuff, so
Dude,
he
the
could
burner
talk
account.
trash. Yeah.
You are okay. You live in this era of social media where anybody who has two thumbs on a device has an opinion that can post it, right?
Right.
And you're so concerned that you actually create a second account to defend yourself, right? You defend yourself with a burner account. That's whack, yo. That's weak.
So
I'm like,
whack.
yo, if you want to say something,
Almost as whack as joining a 73-9 team that you couldn't beat the
yeah,
year
there you
before.
go. There you go. There you go.
Up
So
3-1, dude. I
I
always liked
know.
the Thunder too, with with Westbrook and him, but they didn't get along.
Yeah, they didn't get along. And he jumped ship instead of like I honestly, when he won the MVP that season, when Russ was out, that was the blueprint where he was the number one option. The role players fill their roles and they could ball out. And then, but he didn't have the desire or the will or whatever it was to like try to fix that. He was like, I'm out. I don't even fault him for that. He just went where he had to go. Where else was he gonna go? But the point is, I'm talking to these guys and I'm talking about something actual. And then it descends into this thing of like trying to get under my skin about LeBron, right? And then, and AJ has this thing where it's like, for whatever, like years ago, man, I'm like airing dirty laundry right now. This is
That's
crazy.
all right. It's fun.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. So years ago, there was a point where I was like, yo, man, I'm transitioning from basketball, right? Like just in life in general. I did it for a long time. It was fun. But now, if I have free time, I'd like to do something else. I don't mind playing basketball, but I don't have to play basketball. So
Right.
we had this whole thing, and I was like, man, forget basketball. Let's go do something else. Like, let's go out and get something to eat. Let's go catch a movie. Let's go do something. We ain't got to play basketball all the time. That dude took that like Reg hates basketball, right? Reg doesn't like basketball. And I'm like, no, man. It's not that I don't like basketball. It's just that I don't have to play basketball all day, every day, all the time like I used to, right? So now with that being the case, whenever we get into these little discussions, like he almost dismisses my arguments because he's like, well, Reg doesn't like basketball. So what is he? He doesn't watch basketball. And I'm like, so now here I am in a conversation with two guys, one who doesn't respect my opinion about basketball, and then the other one who's like, because I don't agree with his point of view, all of a sudden it goes down to, well, who's better, Michael Jordan or LeBron? And I go, they're like, Michael Jordan best. They go, this is what he said. He said, Michael Jordan's the best, right? And I go, okay. I said, well, Michael Jordan's the best. Bill Russell's the greatest of all time. And then LeBron James is the best all around of all time. Right. And the argument between the two, once again, is not about who's the best or who's better. One's a two guard at 6'6", who played at 205 pounds or 195. And the other one is 6'8", 6'9", who plays at 260, who's a small forward / point guard. Right. So you can't even compare the two because they don't even play the same positions. Like if you're going to compare anybody to Michael Jordan, you compare Kobe Bryant. They're both two guards. And in actuality, Kobe modeled his whole game after Michael Jordan. Like his goal was to try to become Mike. And then eventually he became himself, right? He became who he was.
Like a lot of people get upset, like, because it's always a comparison Jordan, LeBron, but then you get the Kobe people like, no, he's not even past Kobe yet.
Oh, dude, come on. Look, now this is the thing. And one of my friends he's a former NBA coach, he said it a long time ago. He goes, Michael Jordan was probably the most sensational basketball player we've seen, right? I mean, he hit the shots late, and he's got the fadeaway, and he's got the dunks, he's got the whole thing. Like watching Mike, and we both were in that era, and I watched Mike. Dude, he's sensational. It was fun to watch him. Killer mentality.
Right. And you got those 6 and 8 years,
right,
where it was just rings.
Yeah, exactly. And then 2 years he wasn't even in the league for those two. So that's amazing.
I always hate the one argument people go, he would have got 8. I'm like, no, he came back in the second year and he was in the playoffs and he lost to Shaq and Penny and the Magic.
Yeah, but come on, man. The dude.
Hey, man, come on, nothing. You showed up. I don't care. Dude, you wore 45. You showed up.
Dude, he had just come back from playing baseball, which is a completely different skill set.
And he played before the playoffs. He got in at the beginning of the middle of the season.
Yeah, but you got to get back in the rhythm. You can't count that one. That was him working his way back. Seriously, that
shit counts, dude. Shaq and Penny were on. They went to the finals that year.
Yeah, and they got smoked by Houston. They got smoked. They got
by
swept
by Hakeem.
By Hakeem. So yeah, man. It's like the argument is moot. It's not even valid. LeBron will end up statistically. He'll end up like top 10 and like five.
Yeah, he always has more assists than rebounds than Jordan.
Yeah,
their stats are so similar. It's just that, yeah, I think, look, and I'm from Cleveland. I love LeBron. It'll always be hard to put LeBron above Jordan, though, because you're right. It was a sensational time. He's undefeated in the finals.
Right.
And, but LeBron, LeBron's a whole nother.
He's a totally
LeBron, yeah, he changes every team. Dude, like any team he's on, he makes him a contender. We'll never know what Jordan and stuff.
Exactly.
Like that.
LeBron is a beast physically, like the way the game and his skill set of what he's able to do with that size. It's bananas. Yeah. And also, don't dismiss this, right? Don't dismiss this. The thing about Jordan is that Jordan came along in the era of ESPN and the development of ESPN and highlights, right? So all of a sudden, there, and you got ESPN, you got Nike, you got Gatorade, the marketing put, and McDonald's, right? You got the marketing push behind him. He was at the precipice of this transition of what was happening in the world marketing wise.
Right.
So all of a sudden now I want to be
The
like Mike.
shoes.
The shoes. It's got to be the shoes, Mark. It's the shoes, Mike. No, Mars. It's not the shoe. Phenomenal commercial. So you got McDonald's, you got Nike, you got Gatorade, and you got ESPN. ESPN is highlighting every single thing that he's done, every dunk since, and they coming up with, it's the 5 slammer jammer, whatever. So you look at all those things affect how it's like propaganda, but I mean it was marketing, obviously.
Right.
And then
And
him
plus,
having the
like
skill set.
the guys that we're talking about, Kobe and LeBron, they looked up to Jordan.
Exactly.
So it's hard to ever say they're gonna surpass the guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, Jordan, and plus you're right. Jordan's got 6, Kobe's got 5, and then LeBron's still got the 4. But with 3 teams, we've never seen someone do 8 in a row. I've never seen that he leaves and comes back and wins it again against
not 8 in a row.
9.
Did he have 9? Oh, 8 in a row.
No, 8 in a row. But yeah,
7, and then the 8. Yeah, 8 appearances in a row that we've seen. Russell went 10 times and won 10.
11.
I guess maybe 11.
Yeah.
So yeah, man,
it's just all white guys in the league.
It was a smaller league too.
Yeah, it was very small. That's true.
Yeah. But it's a moot point. There's never gonna be I think a legitimate argument, because it's like comparing apples and oranges. They're both fruits, but they're not the same fruits. And
are your buddies Jordan? So they're both Jordan guys.
Yeah.
Or Kobe. Some people are over Kobe.
No, these are Jordan guys, which is fine. I got it against Jordan. My only issue about that whole thing was I really didn't appreciate the fact that it was like, yo, can we have a legitimate discussion without you guys trying to descend to some level of like trying to get into my skin? You know what I mean? Like seriously, dude, I was like, yo, I'm out. Like right now, I'm almost to the point where I'm like, yo, do I talk basketball with these dudes again?
You guys haven't talked Game 6?
Nope. I'm
fucking crushed on Game 6, dude.
Yeah. But I mean, you knew that was coming. So now it's gonna be 7. But I've only responded with like 1-word answers at this point. I've been like, yeah, because I'm just like, I'm literally, I feel like I need to have a phone conversation with them, like call them and be like, yo, check this out. Like this whole thing of y'all trying to double team me and like trying to get into my skin about some shit and not whatever. I'm like, I'm too old for this shit, man. Right? I'm too old for this shit, yo, for real. I'm like, if y'all want to talk about something, we can talk about it. And if you don't want to talk about it, then just don't even bring it up, right? Because you know where I stand. I'm not saying that LeBron is better or greater. I'm saying LeBron is different. And based on my opinion of what I like and what I want from my stars, I like the fact that he's a vocal activist for the community, right? I like the fact that he actually puts his money where his mouth is and he does stuff and he tries to improve people's lives. I like the fact that he tries to play the game the best way he can, includes his teammates, right? I like the fact that he plays hard and that he tries to, that he plays hard and he's doing everything he can to play the game in a, like to honor the game in a certain way. I like the fact, and this is a guy who was a utility player. Me personally, a utility player in the sense that I can do a little bit of everything. I appreciate the fact that the guy rebounds and steals the ball and has assists and block shots and passes the ball and
blocks. Yeah, that's right. He's in that too.
Exactly. So I like that. Now, do I also like the fact that Mike was sensational and had this killer mentality and wanted to come out and destroy every opponent and with sometimes I didn't care for the fact that he would sometimes berate his teammates, but did I enjoy
he was kind of a
watching?
dick to a lot of people.
Yeah, he was. Now do I it just comes down to your preference. That's all it is preference, man. So yeah, it's like, it's always like, Kobe and Mike had this killer mentality.
It's so annoying. Like LeBron does it. It's like,
exactly.
He's a professional athlete. Of course, I've seen LeBron. And there's another fact that I always bring up because I argue with Kobe people a lot is LeBron, they are the clutch thing. If you look at the percentages, like in the playoffs alone, like LeBron has way more game winners. He's way more clutch percentage.
Absolutely.
Like it's just kind of absurd.
Well, the difference is this though. The difference is this. LeBron hits a clutch shot, and he's like, yeah, he's like, yeah, his teammates come around him. Michael hits a clutch shot, or Kobe hits a clutch shot, and it's like, yeah, yeah, right? Like and so people go, yeah, he's really killing them, right?
Yeah, he's got a killer instinct, that
exactly.
guy.
LeBron, if you look at LeBron and how he's managed himself in this era of social media and everything that's been thrown at him, the dude handles himself with so much grace. I mean, like, even on the court, he'll have his moments where he's like, yo, get off me, right? But he ain't really trying to fight people and he's like, yo, he said it himself. He's like, I'm way too valuable to my team to get into any type of nonsense. I cannot afford to get thrown out of a game, right? I can't afford to get technicals. He's like, and that's just smart. Like Nikolai Jokic, hey, dude, there's no way as the MVP without on your team, the league MVP, you don't have Jamal Murray. There's no way you get thrown out of a game in the third quarter with 3 minutes. You can't. That's just your team doesn't have a chance, right?
Right.
So that's it.
Man. I mean, and some could argue, hey, LeBron, he didn't develop a gambling problem that he had to leave the league for 2 years.
You know what? Don't even get into the personal stuff, man. It's not even.
But is that a fact or is that a rumor?
Well, I mean, look. If you want to go there, I'll say LeBron, the dude came into the league at 18, straight out of high school.
Right? Yeah, that's another thing, not to have it mess him up.
And he's not messed up.
I mean, he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated at 14.
At 16. No, 16.
Or 16?
At 16. So to have that level of expectations placed on you as a young person and to come into the league and live up to the hype and not have multiple baby mamas, not have drug possessions, no gun possessions, no fight at the clubs, right? No multiple divorces and all this kind of stuff. And to actually try to play the game. Like, he was ridiculed early in his career because he would pass the ball.
I mean, I read caught shit when he picked his high school. The black community in Akron was upset because he didn't go to the popular public school. He went to a private school. Yeah. But he knew, like, that's better for my career.
Yeah, exactly.
And
they had a better program.
It is always amazing to me, like, people who, whatever, Eminem, Hendrix, and LeBron, like, when your own, like, your own people feel you betray them, you know what I mean? And you still push on to get people to come along to your side. Like, you really got to be persistent, you know what I mean?
My issue is with that. My issue with that is this, and I'm sure I get flack. And honestly, I can get what you say. People say whatever they want to about me. I absolutely 100% without a shadow of a doubt care about the well-being and the health and the future and the lives of Black people. Right? Like I do as a Black person in this country and who actually kind of lightweight has experienced my level of, certain levels of, I'm not going to say discrimination, but just like the lack of fairness and the unevenness. Right. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to get into all that stuff, but just, I've had moments where I'm like, wow, that's interesting. We both showed up and on paper, we're probably the same, but they get the call back and I don't, or they get the job and I don't. And then you start to see the trend of people that come in, two people on paper, one's Black, one's white, and it kind of always goes this way, right? Mm-hmm. So, but I'm not complaining. I mean, I've done well and I'm fine, right? I got my health and I got my mind and whatever else. So yeah, I absolutely want the best for Black people, but I also want the best for all people, right? Like, it's not just about one community. It's about the entire, because the whole world, we're all one community, man. We're all one people. We may be different shades and different sizes and all this other stuff, but we still are just one people. And so the idea that because one person decides to do something, people take that as an affront against the whole race. LeBron, how could you go to this private school and hurt the Black community in Akron? It's like, yo, by my presence alone being somewhere, I enhance our community. I give us more exposure by just being in the building, being in the room, being at the table, talking to people. I am empowering us. But people have this idea that you got to do it a certain way. And if you don't do it that way, then it's like, man, you ain't one of us.
Another one that makes me think of is Ohio's own Jesse Owens. they
Okay.
NCAA asked him to boycott the 1936 Olympics because he was like the biggest star, and
Right.
he was thinking about it, and he was really thinking about not doing it, and then yeah, obviously he did it and kicked Hitler's ass on his own fucking field. Got
Yep.
4 gold medals.
Yep.
It's crazy though. There was, and you ever see the movie Race?
No, I don't
It's
think
pretty
so.
cool. I mean
No, I
it
haven't seen it yet.
what's cool is like there's a one of my favorites. There's a shot with him just like walking into the arena when before he
Right.
does his race, and like it's funny. Like back then, the shoes are little shitty shoes.
Oh, of course.
Uh, which, by the way, little trivia fact: Jesse Owens is the first black athlete sponsored by a shoe company. Adidas gave him the shoes
Nice.
during that Olympics.
Awesome.
So, and then like they don't have little things to put their feet when they're gonna run. You have to dig
Yeah.
it out with the little
Oh, okay.
spoon and shit, right?
Wow.
But he's just so like the way they shoot it, he's just so focused. But one of his events was the long jump, and
Okay.
there's this white German guy who was there, and he was the big favorite. And you know, Jesse jumps, this German guy beats his jump, Jesse gets his second jump, beats him, you know, and then I think his third jump, he already had him beat, and then the German guy wanted him to do his third jump, he does it. German guy runs with Jesse around the arena, like really is like buddies with
Mm.
Jesse, and this is in 1936 in
Wait,
fucking
maybe I
Berlin.
did see this. I feel like I saw that.
Maybe, but then what happened was Hitler and them sent that guy to the front lines, and he was
Oh wow.
dead like 2 years later,
Oh wow.
or something. I
Wow,
want to
that's
say
terrible.
he died eventually in the war. Yeah, because
All
it
right.
happened in 36. The war wasn't until 39, but yeah, so he was friends with
Wow.
them up until he died.
Wow, that's unfortunate, man. I'm glad he took that stance though. You know
You
what's
know what's
funny?
oh go
You know
ahead.
what's funny is the idea, like, and I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but the idea that there's always some idea of like asking the black person to, make some sacrifice to take a
Yeah,
stance, right?
yeah,
I mean, would you ask Tom Brady not to show up at some
right,
shit, right? Would you
right.
ask, would you ask Babe Ruth not to play? Babe, in protest, don't play in this game, right?
Right.
But for a Black American in a country that doesn't necessarily see you as an equal, they're always asking you to sacrifice some shit, right? To
Yeah.
give up even more. And so I'm glad Jesse didn't, because honestly, his presence in that Olympics, it goes way further, right?
Yeah.
Than
Way.
any, yeah. If he had a set out, we wouldn't be talking about him right now,
Yeah,
right?
no, totally. There's a great scene where the coach plays is played by Sudeikis, and he had like this coach at Ohio State, and but
I
he's
did
like,
see that movie actually. Now
yeah,
that you
he's like,
mentioned,
people
yeah,
remember medals. Medals are what they remember, and it's
yeah.
true. It's funny too because remember Jesse Owens, he broke like 3 world records in 45 minutes.
Wow.
Like yeah, dude, it was amazing. And like they supposedly broke, and there was a fourth one, but there was an argument over the time, you know. But
Okay,
he did
okay.
it like was crazy too. Like you had to do all this, like you don't do the 100 meter, and then I take a break and ice up or whatever. No,
Yeah,
it's just, and he did it all in 45
dude,
minutes.
that's what I'm talking about. That's that next level of athleticism. That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. I love
But then
that.
he came home and they were still racist to him, and he still
Of
couldn't
course,
even attend his own whatever honoring. It's
dude.
ridiculous.
How crazy is that? It's the same. Like, dude, it's like Muhammad Ali. All right, Muhammad Ali's like, yo, I ain't finna go over there and kill no Viet Cong. They ain't never called me no N word, right? Like, I don't have freedom here at home, and you want to send me somewhere to die for a place that
Right.
don't even recognize me as an equal? Come on, man. Yo,
Right.
this is backwards, man. It's backwards. I swear to you, the people who make the rules and enforce them, I, yo,
Muhammad Ali had to sacrifice 3 years of his prime.
and I appreciate that too. It's hard. It's hard. But I mean, to stand up for what is it? If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything,
Mm-hmm.
right? You got to
Mm-hmm.
stand for something, man, for real. So,
Uh,
yeah. Always asking somebody to sacrifice some shit. Don't you think my ancestors have sacrificed enough?
I remember this is a funny story. So like Obama, another guy caught
Right,
some shit from because and look, dude, that's a hard like Obama was trying to be the first black president ever. Like he's gotta walk that line, dude.
right.
You know what I mean? Because this is a racist ass country. He knows that still.
Yeah.
And remember, like when Jesse Jackson was giving him shit, And
Oh, okay.
I forgot what he said, but he was basically a similar idea, you know, he's not doing enough for the black community, he's not saying enough, he's not doing this. But it was just like, yo, let me win, right? And you know, Greg Edwards,
Okay.
a good comedy buddy. His girl, Janelle, they were at the inauguration with us.
Oh,
We
were they
went to
there?
the Yeah, they had it. So which is crazy. Reggie, it was so cool that I emailed Senator Feinstein, and I got a message back, and I got 2 tickets. And when I got to go to the Obama's inauguration, it was in
Yep, we
2008.
did that.
That shit
2008. We
was
were there January 20th.
Yeah,
Was it
dude, it was
January 20th?
so cold. I was just telling
Coldest
my
day.
friend the other day, I was like, I've seen Aretha Franklin sing. And it was like, really? I'm like, at Obama's inauguration.
That's right. That's right. I forgot about that. Dude, that's right.
You
We
saw
did
the
see her
Queen.
sing. That's right.
Yeah, man.
That was easily the coldest day that I've ever experienced in my
Me
life.
too. But yeah, I went to Canada 2 years ago, and I
Oh,
went
I
to,
remember.
yeah, shoot these buffalo, and it was minus 30. But I was only like, I'd come out for like 3 minutes and then get back in the car, 5 minutes. We
But
were out in
you just said to shoot these buffalo. You mean to like
pictures,
see?
shoot pictures, shoot
Okay, yeah, okay,
pictures.
there you go. Because I'm like, you weren't
Pictures.
doing no
Nah, don't
Theodore
kill the
Roosevelt.
animals, folks, and
Like,
not the buffalo especially. They're
yeah,
they're
exactly.
endangered. We fucked them over enough.
Okay, okay,
No,
yeah,
shoot pictures of them,
okay.
and it was really cold. But when that day in the inauguration, we were out there for fucking like 10 hours.
Dude, it was bananas. I've never been, honestly, I've never been that cold ever in my
My
life.
toes.
And
I always remember my toes, or I remember they're gonna fall off.
dude, I thought I was gonna lose my feet. I was like, people gonna think I'm diabetic. I'm gonna lose both my feet. I'm like, yo, this
And
is crazy.
we arrived there before the mall even opened. Like the sun
Yep,
was still coming up.
yep.
So yeah, and then we had to
And
wait.
remember how many people were there,
Oh, it was
right?
the best. It was
Now,
so
personally,
cool.
personally, I don't like crowds. I
Yeah,
don't
me
like,
neither.
yeah, I don't like crowds. I can't. It's just I'm uncomfortable. It's just too much uncertainty. I don't trust people enough in those situations to like all be on the same page. But that day, with the amount of people that were there, I swear to you, I didn't have a single worry or feel like I was not anticipating a gunshot or a punch to the back of the head or someone trying to pickpocket
Nothing.
you, right? Like it was all love, man.
I remember when we were there a few days before, and we went to the museums and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone was happy.
Yep.
Everybody was
Yep.
so cool. It was.
Yep.
It was all love. It was cool. I've never seen so many fur coats. I
Yeah.
didn't realize black women love the fur coats.
Hey man,
But hey,
the
man,
kid,
we could have used them that day.
seriously, I learned a very valuable lesson that day. The lesson I learned is, you know, earmuffs, hand warmers, gloves, scarves, beanies, coats, jackets, uh, long johns, undershirts, long john pants, boots. All of that is very important, but nothing is more important than some goddamn wool socks, because I did not have wool socks. I went out there with one pair of socks on, like I was going to the grocery store, and my whole body is warm. Everything is warm except for my friggin' feet,
Which
which
are
were
on the cold
freezing
ground.
on the cold ground. The cold was coming up through the bottom of my shoes. Remember, I'm sitting there stomping, trying to keep my feet warm, trying to keep the blood moving in my feet because my feet feel like they're about to fall off. Felt like I was standing on pins and needles, man, for hours.
I
Like,
remember
yo,
we went into something like right after it was done. We like quickly got into some coffee shop or something small to warm up. Like we,
yeah, yeah.
it was so
I was like, this is
crazy.
crazy. I also ran into, remember, I don't know if you remember, but I ran into a friend of mine that I went to middle school and high school with.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I don't
which was
remember.
crazy.
There?
Yeah, there. I ran into my friend
Okay.
Zanetta Lynn Foster at the inauguration. I took a picture. There's on my blog. Um, if you go to my blog, it's what is it, reggiesteele.wordpress.com. Then you can see that picture. There's a nice little story about seeing her there. Um, but yeah, man, that joint was bananas, man. That joint
Oh,
was
so what
bananas.
brought me up to it was so we got the silver ticket, which,
Right.
which was cool too. There was a million people behind us. It was the
Yeah.
coolest thing. Like,
Yeah.
I do ever get the moment when he gets it and when you're like, you got it, and everyone's cheering, and then I turn around to the camera and then there's a million
A
people behind us.
million behind it. I
It
mean,
was
and we had a good
amazing.
spots too. Like we could see
Yeah,
fairly well.
so we were like, we were right, in the center, and we could see we were still a little back. But
And they
so
had
Greg
jumbotrons.
and his
Right.
girl had the purple tickets, which
Okay.
were even a little closer. But what happened,
Oh
there was like a tunnel, and they got stuck in the tunnel, and I don't even think they got to see it.
no.
But there was a moment where Jesse Jackson was coming through the tunnel,
Okay.
and Greg's girl, man, she jumps right up in front of him, and she goes, Jesse, she's like, you know, you were wrong for what you said about Obama. So funny, dude.
I see it, Janelle, letting old Jesse have it. I met Jesse once.
Dude. Did you
I'll tell you,
really?
I
Where?
met Jesse once at a Warriors game, right? So
Really?
yeah, so my buddy, based on whatever, has access to the Warriors, and he has access to lower level seats and also access to the food. So I go to the game with him. We can go down through the tunnel where the Warriors come in and out of the game, right, into the in and out of the arena. And then they have a whole area where they have food in the back for people. So we go down there to get some food at halftime. Like the Warriors run off the court. We're literally walking behind the players through the tunnel. They go to the locker room. We go to they have like a BMW bar to the right. And to the left, they have a room where it's like tables with food for the family and friends of the athletes and stuff, right? So I'm in there putting together a plate. And man, in walks Jesse Jackson, right? And he comes up to me and I'm sitting there doing my thing. And Jesse, we kind of make eye contact, and Jesse goes, hey, how you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. And I was like, hey. I'm shaking in my head, I'm thinking, I'm shaking hands with Jesse Jackson.
That's cool.
This dude used to stand right next to Martin Luther King, right? Like this is legitimately 1 degree of separation from like, history, like historical, like amazing, iconic person, right? An iconic person in the history of the world, right?
Right.
I'm like, and I'm sitting there shaking his hands, and he's like, hey, I'm like, hey, nice to meet you, or nice to see you, or whatever. I'm just kind of like, whatever. He's like, all right, man. Hey, enjoy the food, have a good evening, or whatever. I'm like, thanks, Jesse. I go back to making my point, and I'm just sitting there like, yo, I just met Jesse.
That's cool.
I'm like, what? I'm like, what kind of life am I living? Right? Like, where I'm like, I just met Jesse Jackson, and I've hung out and like worked with and spent time with Dave Chappelle. Like, yo, this is crazy. Like,
I got
Jesse
a
Jackson, Dave
question.
Chappelle. What's up?
You're telling me my home team, Cleveland Cavaliers, went to the finals 4 years in a row against the Warriors, and you had this access, and I've never once went to one of those games.
Well, yeah. But see, okay, so this is the thing. So my buddy, yeah, he has access. I went to a finals game. I went 2015.
I know you went to a finals game. That's right.
I went to a
It
finals
was
game.
a 2015, huh?
2015.
They lost.
They lost.
They were up 2-1 at that point, and then they lost the next 3. So you're probably one of
Matthew
those.
Dellavedova had a wall, and Cleveland just didn't have enough.
Yeah, dude, that dude had to go to the hospital after game 3.
He was dehydrated. He was exhausted. So, but check this out. So 2015, I go to the game with AJ, and we're walking into the arena, and we got caught on television walking in together. So I have a picture. I'll send you the picture. I have a picture that someone took on television. They're like, yo, that's AJ and Reg. They took this picture. And so I have this picture. So this is the thing though. I get into the arena, and this is back when, numbers don't lie, or whatever their slogan was. Every chair had a yellow Warriors shirt on it, right? Every chair.
Ugh.
Dude,
Ugh.
hey, Sal, I didn't wear my shirt.
You were there for the king, baby.
I was there for the king, dude. I took the shirt, right? But I didn't wear it. And they had a dunk cloth or whatever. Dude, legitimately, you could look around the arena and see all the Cleveland fans. So it's like a sea of yellow, and then there's like a little dot of somebody not in a yellow shirt. A sea of yellow, another little 2 dots of people not in the yellow shirt, another sea of yellow, a few more dots. I was one of those people No yellow shirt, dude. When I took it, I even gave it away. There's a guy I used to work with, a guy I still work with. I was like, yo, man, you want this shirt? I got it at the game. I gave him the shirt. I gave him the dunk cloth. I gave him all the stuff, all the free stuff. See, the other thing too is you got to remember is I'm friends with a guy named Phil Handy, who's now, he was with Cleveland at the time, and now he's with the Lakers. So check this out. Phil won a championship in Cleveland. No, wait, okay, yeah. So Phil, first off, let me go way back. Phil is probably the guy that you could attribute Kobe Bryant's footwork to, right? Like in charge of player development. He worked with Kobe, personally. So Phil got into the league that way. And then he was with the Lakers for a long time. Then he was with Cleveland, won a championship in Cleveland with LeBron. And then when that whole thing broke up, he went to Toronto. He was there when Kawhi Leonard was there and won a championship in Toronto with Kawhi Leonard.
And he's like a trainer?
No, he's like third assistant now. And then he went to the Lakers and he just won a championship last year with the Lakers.
Wow.
So my man Phil Handy got 3 rings from 3 different teams, 2 with LeBron, 1 with Kawhi. And so knowing Phil, hit Phil up for tickets. He was like, yo, I could do that. That's how we got tickets. Now before the pandemic.
I think I missed my call that day.
I only had 2, man. I'm sorry, bro. So check this out. I had a plan before 2020, before the pandemic hit. This was my goal and this was my plan to meet LeBron. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I figured Phil is in LA, right? He's with the Lakers. The goal was gonna be this. Yo, Phil, what's up? I'm gonna come to LA. Me and my man Mahershala plan on coming to a game, or we want to come to a game. So
your man Mahershala and Sal.
Okay, me, my man Mahershala, and Sal.
Come on, you got a 2-time Oscar winner. You can get a 3rd ticket.
That's true. All right. So hopefully the idea was that I was going to talk to Phil and see if I can get tickets to a game, right? And then get those tickets and then say, yo, if it's possible, we'd like to meet LeBron after the game, right? Like we'd like to catch up with you after the game. Sitting.
I love that.
Dude, this would have been a plan. The 3 of us, including you, right? The 3 of us sitting courtside at a Lakers game, right? Sitting courtside at a Lakers game. People are going to know, like Mahershala sitting there, it's not a big deal, right? Because that's like, he's been to games and sat in the lower section or whatever. But then those other 2 guys sitting with him, you and me, people like, who the hell are those dudes?
They were like,
they don't know.
That dude's got some dope pink shoes on, that white dude.
Exactly. With his Basquiat sweatshirt or his hoodie, like he's next level with it. So that was the goal, was to do that. And then after the game, catch up with Phil and then hopefully meet LeBron, get that picture. And then it's going to be a wrap.
All right, let's get that going, dude.
Well, we'll do it for next season.
Yeah, dude. Let's get it. I never saw a game at the War. I've seen games at Staples Center, but I've never seen at the Warriors stadium. But I did.
Well, they're in San Francisco now, so it's not even the Coliseum anymore.
Yeah, but I played at the I played on that court at the Oracle.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So what happened was I had a buddy, and we played basketball all the time in SF. And he also did like that local news shit. And one of the guy, I don't know, he used to coach like the Kings or somebody, but he had his own little segment on there. And so he was describing some of the plays. So they needed some guys just to throw the ball, and he's explaining these plays. And it's
I remember you telling me about this now. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. And I remember I got to take 3 shots in it, right? And the first one was just some mid jumper I missed. Then the next one was a 3, right? But I wasn't supposed to shoot the 3, I think. But I was wide open. I'm like, I'm fucking shooting this. And I shoot this 3, totally missed. I hit the rim. I didn't airball it.
Okay, that's good.
And that's a fucking NBA 3. And then finally I got the ball. I was supposed to do some other pass, but I was like right next to the thing. I just fucking put a layup. I was like, all right, it went in. I finally made one. On an NBA court.
Oh, that's funny. That's great, man. How you not following directions though? You out there doing whatever you want to.
Well, I had no idea what the hell was going on. I never played with plays.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Yo, that's a real thing, man. That's what separates. Honestly, that statement right there is what separates, a great player not playing over a good player, right? Like meaning a guy, this guy is tall and he's athletic and he's got a great shot. But then the coach goes, yeah, but he can't follow a play. right? Like he
Right.
can't be where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be there. And then you got this other guy who's maybe not as good, right? Maybe he's not as athletic, or maybe not as tall. He doesn't shoot the ball as well. But the dude can run a play. Like he can set the screen and then flash. Like you can get the whole system going. Yo, that's a real thing, man.
That's why I've never played with Reg, because we've never played. He's like, nah. He's like, you're one of those guys who'd get me injured.
straight up. I played with too many people who could, like, look, no offense to you, Sal, but I played with so many guys that couldn't play at different times. And it's almost like if you're running track, right? In track, they have lanes. You have to run in your lane. But if you run with people who don't know how to run, then you're running and they're coming into your lane and you're like, yo, dude, what are you doing? Right? Like it can mess you up. Like it can, like if I'm going down the court and there's a guy who's on my team and he runs across me, I'm like, dude. So yeah, man, I gotta admit, I become a little elitist when it came to hoop. Like,
well, you know why though? Because Reg hates basketball.
Yeah, one day I hate basketball forever. So
all right, so remember, dude, when you get me to meet LeBron, I got you to meet Obama. So dude,
slow
meet
down.
Was close. We weren't allowed to meet, but...
Yeah, I was gonna say meet. If you and I get a picture with LBJ, I don't think you can say that's the same as meeting Obama. But I can say that he knows Obama, so we would have been one degree of separation.
Well, see if Phil or Mahershala could get Obama to be at that game too, and we can meet them both at the same time.
Dude, hey Phil, yeah, check it out, man. I was wondering if I can get 3 tickets. It's gonna be me, my boy Sal, and Mahershala, and we're wondering if possible. I mean, it's no big deal. Just in your spare time if you can. You think you can get Barack Obama to come to the game and sit with us?
Dude, he doesn't have to sit with us. He can have his own little seat with his kids and stuff.
Can you imagine, Sal? Just imagine if we were sitting courtside and we're sitting there.
Chappelle too. Can we get Chappelle there? Need some laughs,
dude. Dave Chappelle, Barack Obama, Mahershala Ali,
the best actor, basketball player, comedian.
Yes,
and then us, best podcasters.
Us sitting there with those dudes after, like, get a picture with all those people would legitimately, their heads would explode because that picture would go viral, right? If you had Dave Chappelle, LeBron James, Barack Obama, and Mahershala Ali, and then us two, people would be like, look at this. And who are they?
we would have to get in between three. Well, we have to get in between them so they couldn't crop us out.
So they couldn't crop us out, right? Like we had to stagger it, right? So they couldn't crop us out because if we're on the end, they'd be like, cut out the guys we don't know who. Cut those guys out. Dude, that would be awesome. If we got that picture, man, I think we could legitimately write our own ticket. We write our own ticket for whatever. So oh man.
All right, well, cool, man. That was a good little podcast for having nothing to talk about when I sat down.
What do you mean? We always got something to talk about. As long as
I didn't have anything in my head. I didn't know. Yeah, I had the show last night with we had some great SF comics, dude. Kamiya, Kevin Kamiya, and
nice.
And Greg Edwards. But it was kind of funny. So Shay was there.
Oh, okay. And he called me the other day too.
Oh, cool, man.
I'll tell you about that.
He came by and he was just, he was cool. He was just chilling and watching. And, I was just we started the show late. I'm just trying to get through it. I mean, it was our best crowd yet, but it still wasn't a great crowd, but we're getting there. Yeah. But it was cool. We had some people. But it was funny. Kamiya was like, he's like, so is Shay going to go up or not? And I'm like, no, fuck him.
Dude, come on,
and then Kamiya was laughing. No, see, you don't understand. Shay is great. We love Shay, but Shay's been a dick for a long time. So whenever you do something dicky back to him, you don't feel bad because it's Shay. You know what I mean?
Okay, so go ahead and finish that story, and I'm gonna tell you what.
That's it, basically.
Okay, so yeah. So I got a text from Shay 2 days ago, right? Mm-hmm. He's like, yo, I'm headlining Cobb's August 18th. Want to know if you're free, if you want a middle for me, right?
Wow.
I hit him back on the message because Shay and I are cool. Whenever he comes to town, we always hang out, right? So I hit him back and I go, you know what, man, I'm kind of in this state of limbo. I don't have any material right now, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to do and how I want to do things. And initially, he's like, don't be this. Just get on, just get back on stage, right? And I was like, dude. And then he calls me, right? So we start talking. I kind of run it down for him like, yo, 2019 was phenomenal. 2020, I kind of woke up like, yo, I got to do something different. I'm kind of like, I'm in a different space creatively in regards to stand up. And so he respected it. He was like, okay, all right, I get it. Once I ran it down for him. And then I'm like, Sal and I got this podcast. And I was like, yo, you want to come on, right? And he's like, yeah, I would love to come on. I was like, okay, well, I'll talk to Sal, because Sal's trying to get Tim. I said, Sal's trying to see if he can get Tim Meadows. And then maybe after Tim Meadows, we can have you on. He was like, oh, dude, that'd be great. I would love to do it. So I'm sitting up here like trying to get Shay to come on to the podcast. And you're like, fuck him.
No, I'll have him. I like Shay. Like, well, we always have good laughs, but he he
likes the bus balls. He can be.
He's a big,
Well, I mean, and look,
Biggie.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, and this is something that I would say to him. Shay and I have had our moments where he's kind of, because after shows, late night at the club, we're sitting there. He's got a few drinks, and he's already
when he's drinking, he's also worse.
When he's drinking, that dude can be downright ornery. So he's had a couple, and then he starts to throw out. He's kind of throwing out this jab. He starts throwing daggers, and I've had moments where I go, "Yo, Shay, for real, man, dude, you better check yourself, man, because right now the way you're talking real reckless." Right. And he's like, oh, Reg. I go, nah, man, you got to think about what you're saying, because you're implying some bullshit right now. Right. And then he's like, okay. He's drunk. And I got enough sense to not go in on a drunk dude. Right. Because it doesn't make any sense. Right. So, but then afterwards, we've talked about stuff. And I think because we've had those moments, it's actually strengthened our friendship. Right.
Like, that's cool.
Yeah. We've had some real moments.
We have to have him on and ask him about, did you see that clip? Bobby Lee on a podcast was trashing Shay.
Bobby Lee was? No way. About what?
Shay said something like, I don't remember exactly, but they were at some show and Shay was opening for Ken, and Ken is a big star, like Ken after The Hangover. And so she then saw Bobby
give his
Lee.
whole name, Dr. Ken.
Dr. Ken Jeong.
Yeah.
Ken Jeong.
Yeah.
But then he dropped the doctor. That was how we knew him at first.
Yeah. Right. That's
what's funny. Morales had a funny story about Dr. Ken where he was at Cobb's doing the Kings of Comedy with Shay and all them, Steve Byrne and Bobby Lee. And then he showed him this clip. He's like, yeah, I do this sketch on YouTube. It's got like 1,000 views, that's pretty cool. Hopefully something happens with it, and then like 6 months later, the dude got The Hangover. It's like, but yeah, some Shay said something dirty to him about just like how does it feel not to be not as be a bigger star as Ken or something like that. And Bobby Lee's just like, he's just a mean, vindictive dude. And yeah, man, it was like, I'm like, oh, I know that guy.
Yeah, jeez, Bobby, he took that one to heart too. He took that one.
Bobby's usually a nice guy. I don't know. I don't know what happened, but we'll have to ask him.
But this is funny. I actually, it's gonna sound crazy, dude. I got so many stories, but I actually did a Kim's of Comedy show. Like I worked with those guys at Cobb's, right?
Like opening for him.
So I have this picture where we all went out to eat. I think we went to Grub Steak in San Francisco afterwards, and it's me, Bobby Lee, Steve Byrne, Kevin Shea, Dr. Ken, Kevin Kamia, and I want to say Matt Morales is in this picture. Like we all took the picture outside of Grub Steak after, like we did the shows, went there to eat late night, and then afterwards, me, I always kept a camera, so I was like, yo, let's get this picture, man. This is cool. Oh, look at this.
And I got a cat up.
That's a pretty cat, dude. Our views just went up right now with that cat.
I should keep this. This is Waffle. You never see Waffle if you come over because she hides from everybody.
Really?
But she just woke up.
so just know that when you start editing this and you make the little clips, you gotta put Waffle up in one.
We'll have to start doing more with the Waffle.
Because dude, people love cats.
About cats, yeah.
Oh, they'll be like, it's a cat video? Oh, download. They'll listen to the whole thing and be like, when the hell do they talk about the cat?
That's funny.
So we got Waffle at the end. So
I remember Matt Morales told me one of the first times he met Bobby Lee was at the San Jose Improv, and they're in the green room, and Bobby Lee got naked and jumped on Matt's lap.
That's very Bobby Lee. That's so Bobby Lee. I've seen Bobby Lee just straight up. I don't know how many times I've seen this dude and during his show just stripped down to his tighty whitey underwear. They're not even boxer briefs. not even boxers, just straight up, fruit of balloon, tidy whities.
Yeah.
Just and I'm like, dude, you the last person to take off all your clothes, man. Like, at least do a push-up or two, right? I don't think I've ever seen a man's chest be completely flat, like just nothing. Like it looks like like it's flat as cardboard with like two little dots where the nipples are. Like, geez, man, do something. But he ain't tripping, dude. Podcasting has helped revitalize his career, right? Like Mark
Oh yeah,
Maron,
totally.
yeah, like
Totally.
WTF. So,
Well,
yeah,
here's
man.
to us too. Hopefully the same effect.
Yes. So are we gonna? I mean, I can talk to Shay. Should we get Shay on?
Yeah, let's talk to him maybe next week or
Okay.
whatever.
All right.
All right, so let me ask you this before we go: who's winning Game 7, the Bucks or the Nets? I want the Bucks to win, but I think it's going to be the Nets. Well,
Seriously.
who knows? It's honestly who has the bigger game because KD doesn't have the help. I don't know. Harden seems still a little injured, and now no Kyrie. But it was huge was Middleton stepped up last week.
Right. So I will say this: they're in Brooklyn. KD's had he's already had one big game in Game 5.
Mm-hmm.
The Bucks have been able to get up on Brooklyn, but they haven't been able to keep the lead. So I'm gonna say that I think the game will be close. It'll come down to the wire again. And I think I might go on a limb. I might go on a limb and say that the Bucks may have learned their lesson about trying to get and maintain a lead, right?
Yeah.
Because what Steve Nash is going to say is what all the coaches say is they're going to say, hey, look, they're going to come out, they're going to make a run, they're going to make a push, stay consistent, stay steady, stick with our game plan, and we're just going to chip away, right? They're going to come out full of energy, trying to do whatever. And I think the Bucks are going to hold on. I think it's going to be a surprise. And then
I think the winner of that game was going to go to the finals. I don't think the Sixers or the Hawks could stand either one of those.
Right. So I think the Bucks may pull it out, man.
They have to keep attacking the paint because the Brooklyn has no interior defense, and Middleton has to step up again because
Middleton has
Giannis
to step up.
Can't do it himself.
He cannot do it himself, and KD is gonna go berserk, right? But what they have to do is they cannot get caught, on their heels and start watching him because the dude is sensational. There's no doubt about it. It's amazing what he's capable of doing. But if they stay consistent, they stay steady, stay smart, keep playing hard, and doing what works for them, right? Like weathering those storms, weathering those big shots, those energy plays, those dunks, and the deep threes, and just come down and just keep pounding it, right? Getting those open shots, knocking them down, those mid ranges, getting a layup, getting a dunk. I think the Bucks can pull it out. I do. I think they can pull it out.
All right,
Only because Kyrie is out and like you said, Harden is not 100%. And even like he said last game, he's like, I have to be better. Well, dude, you're coming off an injury, right?
Right.
And so your
hamstring too.
Yeah, hamstring, your timing, your rhythm, like that stuff takes time. So, so we'll see.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you all next week.
Yep. We catch you next week on Spitballin. Yo, where's Jasper Red with our song?
Oh, yeah. Let me message him and ask.